First, Mr. Rose, let me just read some identifying information into the record and ask you to confirm it. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Prater after that because your case has been assigned to him. Okay. So, Mr. Rhodes, you are classified as a first felony offender. You're seeking a pardon with restoration of firearms. You were sentenced in Rapides Parish in August of 2002, 2 counts of simple robbery. You received 7 years on each count, and they were to run concurrent. Is that information correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Craig.
Okay. Good afternoon. Yes, it is afternoon. Good afternoon to all of y'all. Appreciate you being here, and we'll make this as quick as we can. First off, I want to hear from you and tell me what's changed since then, because you were pretty bad back then. Did some bad things, and now you're wanting. What exactly are you wanting?
I'm looking for, just as she stated, to have a taste for first, I want to say thank you for allowing me to be here for you to have this. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yes.
For you all. A lot has changed. She stated this was back in, the arrest was actually in 2001, 20-something years ago. Since then, my life has completely turned around from what I once was. Back in that time when I committed that crime, I was an adolescent that didn't think beyond goal. And I got engaged in a lot of things. I lived a lifestyle and had a mindset that brought me to those kind of consequences and other things that I faced during that time in my life. Since then, my life has been converted. I'm now a minister in a ministry that I've been a part of for over 15 years. I'm the regional director in Louisiana of an outreach organization that actually goes out to target those youth and those adolescents that were just as I once was, to try to deter them from the life and mindset that I once had. We've had a great success rate over the years. We've seen many lives impacted and changed by the efforts that we give in this outreach organization that I'm a part of. And that's my goal, to continue to reach as many as I can throughout all of this country, in the United States and beyond, with the lifestyle that I once lived, being able to relate to those that are there, being able to identify the mindset that they have, and also to give them the answer on how to make the transition. So many people that I've come across throughout the years that I preach to, minister to on college campuses, in the jails that I actually did time in before, on the streets, in rehabs, and nursing homes. So many gravitate to what they see in the word that they hear us minister. But the one question they have is, how did you make the transition? How did you go from being this person, having this mindset, being addicted to these kind of things and this kind of lifestyle, to what we see today? Some people, many people that see me today are marveled and never have an idea or clue that I come from the lifestyle and background that I have. The thing that I tell them is that I had a mind change. I've gone through jail. That brought some kind of conviction within my mind, a fear to not want to ever go back to jail. I've gone through deaths in my family that kind of shook me up. I've gone through consequences for the life that I lived that at some point shook me up. But the only thing that changed me, the only thing that caused me to be different, is having the word of God minister to me and allowing those principles, those ways of reasoning and thinking to get inside of my mind. That caused me to see things different. And that's been since the summer of 2010. I've never had a mindset. I've never had a mind battle to go backwards. I never missed the old lifestyle or the things that I was once engaged in. I don't suffer with temptations or provocations from things that I was once so accustomed to. People marvel at that, but that's what done it for me. That's what brought about the transition and the sustainability of what you see today. And so my objective in obtaining my rights back, of course I would love to hunt. I'm in a ministry that's filled with many hunters. I've never been able to go for obvious reasons. I would love that opportunity to be able to, when we meet people oftentimes we have to spend a lot of time with them, mentorship type ways. Because a person left to themselves, they still in the same society, they still in the same world. So the temptations are gonna come. One thing that helped me is being connected with people that I'm a part of. One of the support that's here for me is my pastor. Somebody that when I initially came to this ministry that I'm a part of, I came as I was. I would go to his office throughout the day, and I would stay there hours every single day because I wanted change. I wanted to be different. I was tired of the way that I was, but I didn't know any other way of living, and I didn't know how to make that transition. Being connected with those that have been converted, that have obtained what I was searching for, it gave me strength. It gave me durability. When we meet people today throughout Texas and Louisiana and anywhere that I travel, we like to stay connected with them. We take them out to eat, bring them to our homes, bring them into our circle. An added thing that some are able to do that I'm not is to go out hunting with them. That's something I would love to do. Also with my family, my children. The other part, my other objective is being able to have that full testimony that God restored it all for me. I've gone from being the person that I was to being married almost as long as I've been converted. I've been married, going on 15 years. Is it 15 years? I've been married by that long. We've been together 16 years. I know that much. But being able to say, I've gone from that lifestyle to being a faithful husband, to being a law-abiding citizen, to never going back to drugs or drinking or back to jail or any of these things. It's something that's amazing to me to go back into the jails where I once wore the same orange jumpsuits, zebra suits, and be able to minister to these men, be able to let them know I've been where you are, but there's hope. If you have the mind to do the same thing that it took for all of us to make this transition to do. Being able to add to that God actually restored everything to me and there's no restrictions. So that someone can see that not only will God and his word, when you allow it to take deep root inside your conscience, not only would it change you to be a better person and open up some doors for you, you can actually go on in life and out in society without any restrictions because you do it the right way.
Okay.
I'm saying that change.
Let me slow you down. Sometimes when we get preachers up here, we have to kind of rein them in because we got a lot of folks want to talk on your behalf, and so we need to move on. Then we're going to come back and ask you questions. So you're not through. We're not through talking to you, but we want to move on.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, let's talk to, we got 3 people on Zoom. Well, we got 1 at Zoom, that's your wife. And then we got 2 at headquarters that are going to speak. And then we got a church leader or 2, Miss Burnett and Miss King. And so they're not going to speak, but they're on Zoom. So we'll let y'all decide which of the ones here are going to go first. And then we'll talk to the wife last. Okay? So which of you fellas would like to go first? Would you introduce yourself, please, sir, and kind of limit your remarks to a couple minutes, if you would?
I'm Adam Lede, the executive administrative pastor of Ministry of Lafayette, Louisiana campus. And everything that Benjamin Rose has stated, I've been born again Christian over 40-something years. I've been pastoring for over 20 years. And through the word of God and the power of God to see the transformation this young man like, as he had said, I wasn't there to see his past, as I heard his testimonies. He got pictures, he's shown it. The brother says we know, but to see how when he came into the ministry, he embraced the word of God and allowed that word of God to change his life. I'm an eyewitness that, as he stated many times, he was in my office on a daily basis. He wanted to know, what he had gotten into and how to go about with the word of God. And definitely, his commitment to the word of God has really transformed his life. I've seen thousands and thousands of people come and go, but he has been a young man that have embraced, that's what it is, you have to embrace that word of God. You gotta believe it in the principles and it work. You can't play with it. You determine that you want to do what it says, and it works. And I'm an eyewitness to see it work in his life. His life wasn't my life. I was brought up in a Christian family. Like I've never been in the trouble, but I witnessed people's lifestyles and see how, again, when they embrace the word of God, God definitely can change their life. Definitely eyewitness, and I can validate everything that he said.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. We really do. Okay, next up.
I'm Thomas Walker. I'm also Sergeant Walker at the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office. I've been on Mr. Benjamin Road for a very long time. I've seen his transformation. I've seen people come, what my profession over going on 18 years. I've seen a lot of people say a lot of things and they don't change. But I have seen his life change dramatically. And it's been through the word. It's been through not him just saying something, but he's done it in his life. And he's not only doing it for him, he's doing it for other people. He's helping other people change. So when you see a person not only change their life, but able to have the impact to change others, that speaks volumes. That speaks volumes. So I'm just saying that as not only a sergeant, but as a friend to me, because I've seen it in his life. I work with him on highways and hedges when we go out in the communities and we do these events to help other people. And I see him operate, man, flawlessly. So I just wanted to, everything that he says, I can testify to it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate those words.
Yes, sir.
Now we'll go to Zoom and we'll talk to your lovely wife and see what she got to say.
Hello, everybody.
Hi there.
Hi. My name is Rosalind Rhodes, and I stand here today with the heart overflowing, thanking you all, and with gratitude and humility and joy as I speak on behalf of my husband, Benjamin Rhodes. Today is not just about a pardon, it's about a life redeemed, a soul restored, and an incredible power of God's grace. My husband's journey has not been an easy one, but it has been one of transformation through faith, discipline, and unwavering service. There was a time when his past choices defined him, but through his commitment to God, he made the decision to let go of the man he used to be and become the man God always called him to be. He has devoted his life to serving others, mentoring, volunteering, and giving back to the very communities that once saw his struggles. He has become a living testimony that change is not only possible, it's real, it's visible, and it's lasting. Through years of reflection, accountability, and faith, he has allowed God to completely transform his life. He has faced his past head on, not with excuses, but with a sincere desire to make amends and live differently. In his journey, he has found purpose in service. He has become a fully devoted to helping others, working tirelessly and uplift his community, whether by mentoring those struggling with addiction, volunteering in outreach programs, or simply being a voice of encouragement and compassion to those who feel forgotten. What stands out most about Benjamin is his humility. He doesn't serve for recognition or reward. He serves because he knows what it means to be given another chance at life. His faith has become his foundation, and his daily actions are proof of a heart transformed. Today, I don't just see a man who has changed. I see a man who inspires change in others. He has shown that redemption isn't just possible, it's real and it's powerful. I humbly ask that you see the man he is today, the man who has surrendered his life to God, devoted himself to serving others, and continues to live every day with integrity, compassion, and purpose. Thank you for your time, and thank you all. Have a blessed rest of your day.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We'll consider those words also. We'll move on now to the Rapides DA's office. Mr. Derek Johnson, are you on Zoom, Mr. Johnson?
Yes, sir, I am. Thank you, the board. The Office of Philatero still opposes the pardon with restoration of gun rights. Even though the conviction was amended to a simple burglary, the original charge was still armed robbery, which is a violent offense involving the use of a threatening weapon. And, you know, while we respect the applicant's transformation and his service as a minister, the original conduct and public safety implications and the purpose of firearm restrictions all weigh against restoring gun rights. So we are still opposed to reporting with gun rights. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate your comment. We'll take those into consideration also. Mr. Rhodes, would you stand back up there and let us badger you a little bit now? I'm the first one gets to, and then the rest of the board gets to, and then we vote is the way that it works. Okay. Yes, sir. I mean, how old were you when these robberies occurred that you pled later to simple robbery too?
18 years old.
You were 18.
Yes.
And how old were the people that were with you?
Don't remember exactly, but they were older than me. I must say one was maybe in his 40s, the oldest one. The other one was somewhere close to that. I was 18.
Did you say 40?
He was like 40 something years old.
But they were a good bit older than you, huh?
Yes, they were actually people that I looked up to growing up.
Okay. And you're asking for us to pardon you on those two simple robberies, correct? Okay, well, let's move forward now. This is what troubles me more than even that, and you know where I'm going. In 2008, you were charged with a second-degree murder in possession of firearm by a convicted felon. And I know you said your transformation didn't place, and I'm glad you said 2010, because I was about to say, well, you didn't completely transform, but you were honest with that, and I appreciate that. Tell me, even though the murder charge was dropped, I got to know about it to satisfy myself and my vote. Tell me just roughly what happened there.
June 15, 2008, Father's Day. My mom was at home. I went to my mom's house. She had just bought a house and met her and my stepfather. I went there to tell my mother and my stepfather how it was Father's Day. My dad was stressed out across the bed. My stepfather, I call him my dad, but he was stressed out across the bed, still had his clothes on from the night before, hungover. I spoke with my mom a little bit. I left, I came back. My stepfather was woke, and we began to get drunk that morning for Father's Day. I remember we was drinking Crown Raw, and we was putting up the screen door, and it seemed like everything was fine. But my mom and stepfather got into a verbal altercation. Wasn't nothing new. I had seen this all my life. I grew up living the life that I lived, pattern all to my stepfather, except for the fact that my stepfather was abusive to my mother. I've seen my mother throughout the years, black eyes, blood slaps, abused, cheated on, you name it, I seen it. I was a witness of it. So this wasn't really new. I just was grateful that it seemed as if it wasn't going to be physical, so I thought. But it actually turned out that way. My mom had just had some kind of surgery or procedure where she wasn't 100% physically. And so they get into this verbal altercation. Myself, my cousins, and my nephew, we all go outside because my stepfather is packing his things, leaving. In the process of that, I noticed that the windows were down on my mother's truck. So I'm going back into the house to get the keys to the truck to put the windows up. And I remember like it was yesterday, I pulled the screen door to open it, and I heard screams that haunted me for years. My mother screaming my name sounded like a man. Ben, Ben, Ben. Ben. And so I run through the house and I come around to their room door, and my stepfather's on top of my mother, choking her out with a 38 special, ready to shoot in her face. I said, all I remember saying was, man, what are you doing? And it's like he was ignoring me, and I didn't know it at the time, but my mom actually lost consciousness. I didn't know that some years ago. Long story short, I ended up pulling out the gun that I had, and I began to fire round after round into my stepfather. One of the bullets, after the shooting stopped, my mother regained conscience. She pushed him off of her, and she slid between the bed and the dresser that was in the room. And I checked my dad to make sure he's not finna get up and start shooting with that gun, but he's. And all I hear is my mother behind me saying, Ben, I'm shot. And I turned around, one of the bullets actually went through my stepfather and struck my mother in the leg. And so doctors thought my mother would never walk again. They couldn't get the bullet out. My mother's alive and well today. And she's actually one of the first faces that you see when you visit our church. She's the woman, one of the women that swings the door up and says, welcome to Refuge Temple Ministries. I called the police. My cousin and nephew came running in the room. And I tell my mom, I cannot stay. I had just got out of jail. I got out of jail September 21st, 07. I got off parole May 08. This is June 08. And so I'm like, this is crazy. There's no self-defense law in Louisiana. There's no explaining this. So initially I ran. But I stayed in contact with the family. My stepfather's dead. I'm tormented in my mind. My mother can't walk. She's in ICU. My cousin talking me into turning myself in. So I go back to Lafayette. This happened in Lafayette. I dumped my car in Baton Rouge. I went up to Monroe for a while, and then I came back to Lafayette to turn myself in. My mom was the only witness in the room. She gave the story, told what happened. My neighbor across the street that seen me when I fled the scene, she gave her statement. When I turned myself in, I told them the exact same thing that I just told you, that I killed my stepfather, and this is why. And I suffered a lot. My mom suffered, my family suffered a lot behind that, because this wasn't a man that I had problems with or anger issues with. Growing up, me and my dad were the closest of closest, and in my family, I tell you that. So this was heartbreaking. This was real trauma. And it took me some years to get over. My pastor helped me with that throughout the years. But that was the situation. And in retrospect, if I could rewind the hand of time, I always tell people I had no other choice in the matter. The only option that I had at that moment would have caused my mom her life, and more than likely my own. I don't believe my dad was going to shoot and kill my mother and walk past me standing there. And so I always tell people I had no choice. It was either defend my mother and take my dad's life, or my dad was going to kill my mother. But I tell people today, looking back retrospectively, knowing what I know now, what could I have done to prevent that entire situation? And I know now. When I was in jail for those robbery charges, I was converted. I started living for Jesus Christ. Some people call it jailhouse religion. It was real to me. I did turn away from it. And that was the biggest mistake I ever made in my life. Because had I not turned away from God then, I would have never been in that position in the first place. And so now I know the best thing a person, in my opinion, can do is continue to live for Jesus Christ, and they will avoid all the troubles of life that can result from things like that.
Okay. And the DA chose not to prosecute that and agreed with you that it was, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that wasn't ever pursued, and although we were charged with it, it was dropped, and that was not part of the deal. But you pled guilty to illegal carrying of a weapon.
Yes.
But you weren't supposed to have that weapon anyway, because you were charged with felon in possession. So you pled down. So I say all that to determine, because it's really two things here. You're wanting the pardon for the robberies that occurred and I don't have a big problem with that personally. I do have a problem with firearm though, and granting the firearm, and so I'm trying to get to the bottom of that. But that's all the questions I have, Madam Chairman.
Any other questions? No other questions, so Mr. Prater, we're ready to vote.
Okay, forgive me, Mr. Rhodes, but I'm gonna vote to pardon you for the charges so that you can say you're not a felon and you pardoned from all that business, but I can't in good conscience vote to give you a firearm back. So my vote is to pardon without restoration of firearms.
Mr. Freeman?
My vote is gonna have to be the same also. You're doing great. Appreciate everything you're doing, but, pardon without firearms.
Mr. Tillis?
I concur with Mr. Prater.
Mrs. Staples?
I concur with Mr. Prater.
All right, you got 4 live votes for the pardon without restoration of firearms, so that is the recommendation we're gonna make on your behalf. Now, you could, if you're successful with the governor, you know, at a later date, you can come back and, seek the firearms. Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.